On the night of 30th December year 2000, in a super quiet, ordinary suburb of Tokyo called Setagaya, something unspeakable happened. All family of four, the Miyazawas, were brutally murdered in their own home. And despite a mountains of forensic evidence, a task force of thousands, and a nation demanding justice, the killer vanished without a trace. This is the Setagaya family murder. I personally think this is the most frustrating case and the most coldest case in Japan, and one of the most chilling cold case I ever heard in my life. Hey, my name is Jordan. I talk about murder, serial killer, conspiracy, and dark secrets. So get yourself a snacks, cover yourself in a comfy blanket, and today we're gonna talk about the Setagaya family murder. So let's start with the Miyazawa family. Because to really get how messed up this crime is, you need to know that these family were just a normal folks. They could have been your neighbors, you know? Beside you, you won't know. So the Miyazawa family lives in Setagaya Ward, Tokyo. It's a really pretty place. The Miyazawa family house is like a normal house. Two-story detached house on a quiet street. It was a really family-friendly area. You know, the kind of place that kids would just go out and play freely, and parents won't even worry about their kids playing outside. In fact, right next door to their house was a small park, and sometimes this park is known as Choo Choo Train Park. Sounds really cute, right? Choo Choo Train Park. And the reason why it's called Choo Choo Train Park is because there's a little train themed playground there. And Miyazawa family have been living in this quiet neighborhood for some time, and they are well known to their neighbors. Like, everyone know them. It's a small quiet place, so everyone, you know, kind of know each other. Alright, now we're gonna talk about the family. First, Mikio Miyazawa. He's the dad. He was 44 years old. He's a smart guy, you know. He worked as a consultant. He was super into music, and he even working part-time for a theater company. And he's also a really loyal husband and good father. Then there's his wife, Yasuko Miyazawa. She's 41 years old. She was a school teacher known for being super kind and gentle. Yasuko is the kind of person that every single children and kids will love her. Then there's their daughter, Niina. She was just 8 years old at that time. She's full of energy, she loves to draw, and they also have a 6-year-old younger son. Ray was a bit fragile because he developed some disabilities, but he was super close to his family as well. And quick note, Yasuko's mother, Haruko, lived in the house right next door to them. So basically her mother is their neighbors. This family didn't have a fancy mansion, you know, they don't have any dark secret, they don't have any enemies. Also, they weren't involved in anything shady, no big financial trouble, just a normal family, you know, living their lives, doing their own thing, you know, living a happy life. Alright, in the days leading up to what happened next, particularly Mikio, the father, he had noticed some unsettling things around the house. For example, he noticed a mysterious white car seen repeatedly parked near their house around December 28 and 29 year 2000. And this unusual presence of the white car raised Mikio's suspicion. However, the exact details of why the father feel unease towards this white car isn't fully clear yet. What makes this case even more chilling is that Miyazawa family was deep in preparation for one of the Japan's most important and beloved holidays, which is New Year's. They call it Shogatsu, and of course they will never know what is going to happen to them next. Next door, Yasuko's mother Haruko, she began her own morning routine. Probably she was making breakfast or, you know, starting her own New Year's cleaning. But as the morning progressed, Haruko feel a bit weird. Haruko typically would spoke to her daughter right next door every single morning. However, she hadn't been able to reach her daughter on December 30th. And now, on the morning of December 31st, Yasuko's phone remained unanswered. Haruko feels that it was unlikely that her daughter will remain her phone unanswered. And especially on such a significant day, the family was preparing for Shogatsu. Haruko feel really unease about this situation. Then Haruko decided to walk over to their house. And when she gets there, she noticed the door is unlocked. And then she decided to just open the door. But in her heart, she feels really uneasy. Her heart is pounding really hard here. And when Haruko stepped inside to the house, she called out to her family. And what she walked into, it's every parent's worst nightmare. The smell, the scene, she instantly realized her worst fear is here. The entire family, Mikio, Yasuko, Niina, and little Ray was dead. And Haruko was in shock. She immediately called the police. and the police arrive. Downstairs in Mikio's study room, he was found brutally stabbed multiple times, and you could tell there had been a fierce struggle there. He was probably the first to confront whoever came in. Then upstairs, the kid's bedroom, later raid, he was found strangled, likely while he was sleeping, and there's no sign of struggling. And in the master bedroom, Yasuko and Niina, the mother and the daughter, they were also stabbed viciously. Niina, the 8 years old, also stabbed multiple times, probably right there next to her mom in her sleep. And get this, the attacker had used different weapons on different victims. Mikio was killed with the sashimi knife, while Yasuko and Niina were attacked with a different, likely a smaller blade. The immediate priority for those first officers and emergency responders was securing the scene and checking for survivors, which tragically there were none. But in that urgency, before forensic specialists could fully take over with meticulous detail, vital areas might have been walked through or items unintentionally disturbed. And it's a common challenge in older, chaotic cases. However, there's one detail that stood out immediately. The toilet on the second floor was unflushed. Yes, you heard that right. Feces, shit, left there, unflushed. This killer hadn't just got in, killed the family, you know. This guy actually stayed in the house for a bit. Based on all the forensic evidence, the investigators believe that this killer got into the house sometime between 11:30 p.m. on December 30 or in the early morning of December 31st, which is around like 12, 1, 2 a.m. But this is the most weirdest part. The killer didn't just commit the murder and left. He stayed in the house for hours. Investigators say this killer's action in their house is so different from other killers. The killer used the upstairs toilet and left his shit unflushed. And what does this tell us? First, we can confirm that he spent a significant amount of time in that house after committing the murders. Like, you know, you need to at least have 20 to 30 minutes to shit, you know? You know, he can shit in the house after committing the murder. This is insane. When I'm nervous, I can't even shit. He definitely did this many times so that he can shit after he committing a murder. Like, he wasn't panicked or in a rush, you know, to go. So what did he do after he taking a shit? He goes downstairs into the kitchen. He opened the fridge and pulled out some ice cream and just eat it. And then he also gets some melon from the counter. He even get a bowl for it, bro. I mean, think about it. This level of calmness, this level of detachment after committing the murder. And I think he is a psychopath. And it gets even weirder, guys. He then goes back upstairs, sit down, and uses the family's computer. He logged onto the internet, browsed some random website related to Mikio's work, which is a theater company. And he also browsed some random website. He searches for things like buying tickets online. There was even a puzzling computer access recorded as late as 10:05 a.m. on December 31st. While some experts debate if this was the killer actively using it or an automated system. However, some theories suggest that the killer might have remained in the house until as late as that morning when Haruko's knock on the door. Some theories even suggest that he may have taken a nap on the sofa. You know, considering his extensive amount of time he spent there. He eat ice cream, he take a shit, he browse website. What else he cannot do? He might as well take a nap there. Also, he even used the upstairs bathroom again, you know, leaving more shit on the toilet bowl. Seriously, this is a bit insane and also a bit weird and psychopath. And he even changed clothes. He discarded some of his own clothes and took some from the family. This calm behavior after committing such a horrible crime, this just paints how chilling he as a killer. Now, here's where this case becomes truly unique and honestly super frustrating. Because despite this killer's bizarre attempts to throw off investigators, he left shit, he ate melon, he browsed their website, you know, he even probably take a nap there. Like, he left behind an absolute gold mine of forensic evidence. Also, he left his own DNA at the scene. His type A blood was literally all over the place. Plus, they got fingerprints and even palm prints. In this year, 2025, you would think with our DNA advanced database, it would have been a really open and shut case, right? But the weirdest part is, until now, police cannot find who is the killer. No match DNA, nothing. Even though he left his shit in the house, even though he left his blood all over the place. No, police cannot find who is the killer. Can you imagine that? Also, he didn't just leave blood or feces. No, this guy left behind a whole new wardrobe. He left behind a black jacket, large size, with a very specific yellow tiger on it. This brand is very popular in the UK but was rarely sold in Japan at the time. So probably this guy is from UK. No idea. He also left a long sleeve Uniqlo shirt, a dark green hip bag, and also black gloves. And if I want to be more specific, there was a footwear. The killer wore LA Gear brand sneakers. It is an Air Force One style with the size 27.5 centimeters. The most important thing is this specific model of LA Gear shoe was not widely sold in Japan at that time. And there are some reports suggesting that it was exclusively available in Korea at that time. And this strongly implying that the killer had either recently been to Korea or purchased them from a very specialized import channel. And they also found the murder weapons, right? You know, the sashimi knife? This knife was used for slicing fish, and it was discovered in the house reportedly near to Mikio's body in a study room. And also the sashimi knife was notably broken at the tip. This was a crucial piece of evidence. There must be fingerprints on the knives. Police even traced this specific knife. Police used the knife's unique serial number or batch number, and they contacted the manufacturer. But the second small knife that has been used on Yasuko was never recovered from the scene. Adding more details to the scene, right? The investigators also noted that a mosquito coil, often used in Japanese home to repel insects even in winter, and police found out that this mosquito coil had been pushed out of its holder and fallen to the floor. This actually proves that the killer actually trying to escape from the house. Some people even suggest that this is when Haruko's knocking the door, and then the killer heard the knocking, and then he made a sudden movement while attempting to escape or hide, and then he pushed the mosquito coil out from the house, and then he's trying to jump out from the house. And if you thought that was it, you are wrong. They also found the unique sand particles on the killer's shoe. Analysts revealed that this sand had a composition suggesting it originated from a specific riverbeds or coastal areas. And it's possible in the American Southwest or Korea. And on top of the shoe, it's covered with bird shit. They said this type of bird was not from Japan. So from all of the evidence they found, police could piece together a partial profile of the killer. They said this killer likely to be a young male, possibly between 15 and 35 years old, which is a really wide range, 15 and 35 years old. And the nature of the stabbing wounds even suggested that he might be left-handed. And all those foreign-made items strongly suggest he was either a foreign national or someone who had spent a lot of time living abroad, particularly in US or Korea. Now you got DNA, fingerprints, clothes, shoe, even dirt, sand, bird poop from his shoe, and how on earth this guy was not caught. We have everything from the crime scene. This guy purposely left all of his DNA in the house. Then why on earth he is not caught yet? So with all this evidence, all these crazy clues, what were the police thinking? This case remained unsolved. Police cannot find who is the killer. After all this time, the killer is still out there. Now let's talk about the motive. Why this killer wants to kill Miyazawa's family. Initially, the police explored the idea of revenge killing or a targeted attack related to Mikio's work. He did have some minor dispute in his career, but nothing that seemed to warrant such extreme violence, to kill his whole family. So no clear motive or enemies were ever found for any member of the family. Another theory is this was just a random break-in that just went horribly wrong. But then if you look at the killer's behavior after the murder, eating ice cream, chilling on the computer, changing clothes, taking poop, sleep on the sofa, this is not a normal, typical type of robbery case. This is someone that is incredibly calm, calculated, or seriously disturbed. Psychopath. This just doesn't fit the typical type of burglary gone wrong situation, which usually they will just left the house after they kill someone. What about a professional hit? But again, the evidence, the forensic evidence they found in this house suggests that this doesn't scream professional at all. What professional team would leave their own feces, eating ice cream, serving website, and even sleep on the couch after murdering the whole family? The investigation into Setagaya family murder is one of the most massive and persistent in Japanese history. We are talking about tens of thousands of police officers who have been involved over years. They have meticulously flipped through hundreds of thousands of pieces of information. They received countless tips from the public, and despite all these extensive efforts and having interviewed thousands of individuals over the years, no specific lead suspect has ever been publicly identified. named, or brought to the point of arrest or charge. Now you can say the police can use DNA technology in year 2025 so they can just find the killer, right? They even try to use every single scientific advancement available over the past 2 decades. As DNA technology improved, they reanalyze samples hoping for new insight. They look at the unique shoe print, the specific brand tracing their distribution. They analyze that bizarre sand and those non-native bird shit with incredible detail and trying to pinpoint the killer's likely origin or recent travels. So why? Why exactly they can't find him? The biggest reason here is the limitation of DNA database, particularly internationally. While at the time, Japan has a national DNA database, but if the killer was a first-time offender in Japan, or more importantly, if he was a foreign national who committed no crimes in Japan before or after, his DNA simply wouldn't be in their system. And also the absence of direct witness to the crime itself, it's also a major challenge. No witness saw the killer left or enter the house, and this leaves police solely reliant on the forensic evidence he left behind. The most frustrating point is so many evidence but no arrest. This led to many questions as to early investigation mistakes, including the initial scene's contamination, or just the police simply has bad luck. Allow the killer to just slip away like this. And so, we are here in year 2025. Over 2 decades later, the Setagaya family murder remains the longest, most infamous, and most haunting unsolved murder case in Japan's modern history. And it's like a constant reminder that a horrible, calm psychopath killer remains free out there. Probably he's walking beside you. The Tokyo Metropolitan Police Department, to their credit, still has a dedicated task force on this case. Every single year, around the anniversary, they make a public appeal reminding everyone the killer is still out there. Please give us anything. And of course, the heaviest burden falls on the family. Yasuko's mother, Haruko. Haruko has lived with this nightmare for over 2 decades. Can you imagine her whole family just murdered and just died? Her unwavering determination to find answers for her murdered daughter, son-in-law, and 2 beautiful grandchildren is just heartbreaking. This case truly challenges what we think we know about crime. The Setagaya family murder is more than just a cold case. Personally feel this is a really sad case. Despite all the evidence left behind the house, police still cannot find anything. Of course, I understand probably there are a lot of things that we don't know about the case. But based on the facts, I feel like it's really weird. We have all the evidence but they couldn't find the killer. I definitely think Japan police is trying their very best to find the killer, to give an answer to Yasuko's mother, Haruko. So I hope one day the killer can be found, and I hope Japan can bring justice to Miyazawa's family. So guys, this is the Setagaya family murder. If you like me talking about true crime, please comment down below what kind of true crime or cases you want me to talk about, and I can dive deep into it. Thank you for watching today. I will see you in the next video.